Under the scope.
Hey Scope fans, welcome back to the Fall Film Flam, and we've got another review for you. With me today is guest host Mike.
Howdy.
Mike hasn't been on the show in a while. In fact, I think it was probably a New Year's Eve recording was the last time you showed up, and you gave us a wonderful guitar solo. But we're not here to talk about that. We're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the film we just saw. It is the action blockbuster Escape Plan. I almost wanted to say Prison Break. Escape Plan. This film stars Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's directed by some Norwegian guy, I think. I don't know. I couldn't pronounce the name, but and in this movie, Sylvester Stallone plays a guy who is an expert at breaking out of prisons. In fact, he's such an expert, he wrote the book on it, literally. And as the film starts, he's in prison, and of course he manages to break himself out. And that's how we establish how he's a master of his craft. Mm-hmm. And
because Stallone is clearly one of the most intelligent people alive.
Well, obviously. He knows everything he needs to know. So after this opening scene, he is the team. He's got a team. His team is Amy Adams. His team is Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. I couldn't tell you what the character names were. I'm not even sure if they were even mentioned.
I don't think they were.
And then there's the business guy side of the equation, played by Vincent D'Onofrio, and he has an offer for them. They've got a guest in the office, a CIA agent. I think it was CIA. She has an offer for apparently they're trying to start up a big supermax, undefeatable system of prisons where people can just get locked away and forgotten about, and they need Ray to go in and decide and figure out if it truly is unbreakoutable. That's a word, right?
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So Ray decides, yes, I will do this. The money is right. The opportunity is right. I'm going to go in. And so Ray, very quickly things go sort of wrong. They don't go according to plan. They put a tracking device on him, but the people who grab Ray and bring him to the prison know it's there, and they take it out, and you immediately get the sense that things are not what they seem or what they are supposed to be in this prison. And poor Ray, he's just left without a team, without any support, any help. And he's got to rely on his wits and his apparently encyclopedic knowledge of all things, including the Coriolis effect,
Yes.
to break out. And along the way, he meets Arnold Schwarzenegger, obviously, also top billed in the film. Schwarzenegger is, I don't know, a guy who's been locked away. It's never really clear exactly why he's there, but somebody wants him to be there. Somebody wants him to be, out of the world. So he's locked away in the Supermax prison, and eventually, of course, the two have to join forces and figure the whole thing out. So that's probably about as much as the plot as I want to get into. A couple of the notable people along the way. You've got Jim Caviezel as sort of the basically cartoon bad guy of the film. He's the prison warden in this Supermax prison, and of course he's going to be a thorn in Sylvester Stallone's side, Ray's side. But he also happens to have a copy of his book, so he might know a thing or two as well. Anyway, that's the film in a nutshell. What did we think about it, Mike? Any thoughts on Escape Plan?
Well,
Stallone, Schwarzenegger together again.
I thought it was interesting from the early part of the movie that, they clearly seem to be wanting to establish that this wasn't just another typical Schwarzenegger or Stallone movie, that they seem to be trying to establish it as very thoughtful and having a plot and being more cerebral. But then there were several moments, and then sort of continually giving up on towards the end, where it just sort of devolved into
sort of
a parody of itself.
Yeah, you get a lot of moments of 80s action movies. In fact, those are probably the audience seemed to get the most gratification from those moments when they sort of revert back into their cartoony 80s proto-selves, I guess.
Yeah, but it all seemed very out of place from the tone they tried to set from the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, they try to set it up, as a very kind of intricately planned and clever escape film, but the last bit of it is nothing more than a shoot-'em-up action film. In fact,
with occasional scenes of everyone dropping their guns and starting fistfights.
Yeah, well, there was a moment when Schwarzenegger goes slow motion and grabs a machine gun, and the audience was very, very happy with this moment. And it is a fun little cinematic thing and a nice little nod to, what Schwarzenegger was and how he built his career. But it felt really, really out of place in this film. So as a moment, it was fun. As part of the film, it was gratuitous and unnecessary and really not in keeping with the tone they were trying to set. So,
and
go ahead if you had something.
I was just going to say on Schwarzenegger's character overall, it started off as almost a comic relief character.
Sure.
Because the movie had been so serious up to the point where they introduced him. And then he sort of devolved from somewhat harmless comic relief to big-time action hero. And there wasn't a really obvious transition as to why or how that happened.
Right, I agree. There's one thing I learned, or maybe I just discovered, or it's Schwarzenegger. Let me tell you, there's a little secret here. He's not a good actor. And it's plain that the appeal of Schwarzenegger is all about his charm, because he's a very charming guy. Even an aged Schwarzenegger, playing a role that isn't really well conceived, is still very charming. But it's not a great acting performance by any stretch. And you know what? I think back, he's probably never had a great acting performance. So
there was Twins.
There was Twins. You're right. But honestly, that was all DeVito, wasn't it?
I think the greatest acting stretch in this particular movie is that he actually had a goatee.
He did have a goatee. So, I don't know. The problem, for as clever as this film wanted to be, they rely an awful lot on leaps of logic, on everything going exactly right, and, as I said before, the encyclopedic knowledge of Stallone's character, Ray, who apparently knows how to operate everything he ever needs to operate. I mean, he knows how to operate controls to shut down engine systems and whatever. I'm pretty sure he's picked up a lot of life knowledge over his years, but there's just some things you're really, really stressing credibility, that he would know how to do stuff, know where things are, know what the next logical step is, and I mean, maybe he's just a very lucky guy. I don't know, but hey, it's a movie as well. So,
or maybe the screenwriters from MacGyver finally found more work.
There you go. So it's probably about time that we give this thing a score. We rate our movies on a 0 to 4 scale with quarter-star increments, and here's your Scope score.
The Scope score is 2 1/4 stars.
So 2 1/4 stars for Escape Plan, rated R. Opens in theaters October 18th. That's this Friday, if you're watching this review right away. It's not a terrible time if you're a fan of these two guys and their action hero past. You're probably going to have some good laughs and some great moments that you'll enjoy. I think as a taut escape thriller, it probably isn't quite up to snuff, and you sort of just have to accept the fact that Jim Caviezel's a comic book character or cartoon. He's not, he does well with what he's given, but it's written completely one-dimensionally. So there you go.
But he did accomplish more with a pistol than other characters in the film were able to do with machine guns.
Very much so. It's amazing how these people are, so well trained and they can't hit anything. They can spray a room and hit nothing. It's amazing. Anyway, all right. Well, if you like this review, go ahead and share it with a friend. If you're watching on YouTube, give us a like, give us a comment, maybe subscribe, and we will see you next time here on The Scope.
Ladies and gentlemen, we find ourselves once again at the end. I hope you've enjoyed our time together. I know I have. Fear not, Scope faithful. Days shall pass as if they were but a moment, and Jared, Adam, and Shane will return with another thrilling episode. Until then, send your comments to comments@thescopeshow.com or leave a voicemail message by dialing
612-21-SCOPE. That's 612-217-2673.
Thanks for listening, faithful fans. This is Tony Partington saying arrivederci. Tune in next time to another terrific edition of The Scope.